You guys there? Hello, hello. All right. I don't know what that was. So I think I figured out how to reduce the latency, and which is a great thing, but that was like figuring this out is going to be a trip. So I do apologize for that. So let's test out this latency. Let's test out this delay. Everyone get out the chat. Press 5. Look at that. That was like 5 seconds. Yes. Yes. We got it. No more super long, awkward pauses. But getting this thing set up, it took like I didn't understand like going live, then it was like an error for broadcasting, and I'm like, error for broadcasting? What? And then I had to go through all these like little menus and error things, and then it still wasn't popping up, and then I just refreshed it, and for some reason it popped up. So that's weird. I don't understand why it's doing that, but it is. So still learning, still getting better at this, but at least it's like a 5 second delay, which is amazing. Absolutely amazing. Because now we don't have those crazy long, awkward pauses. So, how are we all doing though? It's Thursday. Dude, it feels like the weeks just go by so quickly, right? It's just, I don't know. I felt like this week is gone. It's just gone. We all feeling the same way? Or is it kind of like, I'm just pretty much bored now? Unbelievably long. I'm sorry to hear that. That's not fun. uh, yeah. So Janal, if you got that message, that is correct. The the school is going to be closed to the rest of the year. You got it. It's a big one. It's absolutely big. But that's okay. And the reason why that's okay, because we're doing just great right here, right? I'm available basically 24/7 to answer your questions on Discord as you guys learn, as you guys go through this, as you guys prepare for pre calculus. It's like all the same thing. We got this live stream going on so I could still communicate with you. If anything, instead of teaching 30 kids at a time, I get to potentially teach an infinite number of kids at a time. And in this instance, 20 viewers. Yeah. Uh, so Emerald, they sent out a message or presser, I believe, saying that it's closed for the rest of the year. So you should check your email. Yeah, based on recommendation from LA Unified School District and the governor of California, Gavin Newsom. So we're kind of chilling. Crazy, right? Yeah. So, but that's okay. It is going to be a little frustrating, but there's there's still hope, and there's no news yet on what that means for them. So we don't know if it does mean that they're going to have to retake. My suspicion is that it would look very, very unpopular towards the governor of California if 100 or probably close to 300,000 to 400,000 seniors across California couldn't graduate because of something like this, and there was no plan in place so that they could graduate. I don't think that that would look very good. So my suspicion is that there's probably going to be something implemented, something put in place so that all of this is going to it's going to be okay. I mean, like, my goal through all of this is you guys participating, you guys doing all of this learning, is that if next year they're like, oh, well, you know, 1/3 of the class, I'm like, no. My kids followed along. They did everything like normal. Here's proof of work that they did. Here's proof of everything that they can do it. Let's give them a sample test. Boom, you pass the sample test. Up, you're in advanced math anyways. Like, that's the goal for this, is if we're doing everything like normal, well, then what's the difference, right? Everything's going to be okay. So that's kind of like the goal with all of this. So continue to, you know, just engage with the lessons, engage with the work, do everything like normal. Worst case scenario, nothing bad happens to you, right? And I'm going to super push for that. Because, like I said, we're doing basically the same thing that we're doing in class. There's nothing different except now you're sitting behind a computer screen or your phone or whatever the above. Like, you guys could reach me and ask me questions almost 24/7 on this, right? So it's one of those things that you can, like I said, everything's normal. Any other questions with that before we kind of start? Because I know that's kind of like it's almost like a nerve-wracking thing to kind of read. It does suck thinking about the fact that what if everything we're doing is pointless? You know, there's almost like a nihilism that sets into that, where it's everything doesn't have purpose or meaning, you know, things. I get it. But I am going to be fighting for you guys. I'm going to be pushing for you guys, and just continue to gauge everything like normal, and there's going to be a massive fighting chance to where everything is. Also, because I wasn't here yesterday, I was able to pick up everything necessary and everything needed in my classroom. So grades are going to be updated up to what everything was before we went on our break. So just know that those are going to be updated and entered in. All the academic academies, it's going to take me a few hours. So hopefully by Friday, the end of Friday, everything's going to be updated and good to go. So so be aware of that. So that's a good thing that I was able to get all that stuff, because for a while there I was like, there's nothing I can do because it's all in my classroom. Yeah, so Cora, I linked the Google Classroom to that, and for every lesson that I go over, I'll have a work spot or a work assignment thing that you can upload it, and that's going to be a way for me to be able to just showcase everything that you guys have done. Yep. So please, you know, take a picture of it and post it and put it inside Google Classroom. Yeah, that would be excellent. So what I'll do is I'll create like a chapter 9 slot for it. I know technically you don't have to do it. There's no way that I can enforce it and grade it, but, you know, just as evidence, I'll create a spot for it and you can go ahead and upload it. There's no due date on that, right? So maybe I'll leave it open until like the 11th if no one else wants to take it after that. And also what I'll do is I'll update you guys on Alex, because I'm going to kind of transform that just a little bit. And it's going to be a good thing for you guys. I think it's going to be a really, really good opportunity here. So just know that I have to fidget with some numbers to make sure that it's going to turn into what I do. And the main reason is right now, like, because the work is classified as optional, right? I can't enforce Alex anymore, so it's become moot. So what is a way that I could try and enforce it for you guys, but it's going to be beneficial to the supreme order? Like, I want to try and create that. So I need to fidget with some numbers, and I'm looking into how we're going to make that work for us. When does it need to be posted by? Maybe I'll make every due date like every Saturday, because since we go through the work anyways every day, I don't know. Like, I can't necessarily enforce it being done every day type of a thing. I don't know. Maybe every third day. What do you think? What do you guys think? How should I do the when the assignments are due? Because I know you guys, I don't know necessarily your guys' schedules. Is the day after, 2 days after, all of them on Saturday? So Kaylin says Saturday. Okay, so just having them all due sometime on Saturday. Now just remember, it will hamper your learning waiting to the last minute, Saturday morning or whatever it is, to get everything uploaded. But at least it'll give you guys that window to be able to, get things done and stuff. Any other questions before we start? This is a nice, quick, and easy one, so. Okay, all right, we'll do it Saturday then. All right, so let's get started here. On yesterday's lesson, let me adjust this video cam a little bit. There we go. So on the 10-3, we talked about the arithmetic sequence and how we can take the arithmetic sequence and combine it into a formula or a general formula. And we said that the general formula for the arithmetic sequence for the nth term is going to be a sub n, and then our first term, now I could just say a, but in this case I'm just saying a sub 1. So my first term plus n minus 1 times that common difference, d. So all I need to do is I need to find those two values. If I can find my first value, if I can find my common difference d, then I can establish this formula. So looking at number 1 in the DI helper, my first value here is negative 30, so I can say my a sub 1 is negative 30. Then to find my common difference, it seems like everything is going down by negative 10. So negative 30 to negative 40 to negative 50 to negative 60. So my common difference is going to be negative 10. And so I just need to take those values and plug them into the formula. So a sub n equals negative 30 plus n minus 1 times the common difference. Any comments or questions on that? Oh no, it's being covered. There we go. I think that this is a fairly easy lesson. It's pretty visual. We can add things pretty well, which is why this one won't be too complicated. These do get a little more complicated, and we're going to look at those specifically in its own unique lesson. And it's more of taking other algebraic concepts that we already know and kind of synthesizing them together. So that's going to be that. But I mean, for now though, we got this down. Let me do one more. I'll do number 4. So my first term is 9, and then looking at this, the common difference, it seems to be going up by 5 every time. So that means that my common difference is going to be 5. So then writing my formula, it's going to be a sub n equals my first term, which is 9, plus n minus 1 times my common difference, 5. And if you want to be really fancy, you can say where n is greater than or equal to 1. because remember that special way of writing it. And that right there, that's our sequence. Now just know that after, because today we're going over the arithmetic, tomorrow we're going to go over the geometric. Just know that after we go over those, we're going to look at those together, and I'm not going to, you guys can't make the assumption of one or the other. Meaning, because I went over the arithmetic sequence, we're kind of assuming that all of these that we're practicing is going to be arithmetic. Tomorrow, practicing the geometric, you guys are kind of all assuming that they're all going to be geometric. Well, it's not one of those things where it's going to be given to us in that format. Hey, this is an arithmetic sequence, write the formula. It's going to say, hey, this is a sequence, give me a formula. So the first thing that we're going to have to do then is determine, is it arithmetic or is it geometric? And then from there, we can write the formula and what it's going to be. It's not that bad, but just know that that's how it's going to be. Any questions on this one before I move on? Okay. All right, so number 5. So it says find the distance and the midpoint of the 2 points. So the distance formula that we should memorize is going to be the square root of the 2 x values being squared plus the difference between the 2 y values being squared. 10.4 is literally going to be posted right after we're done here. I was having difficulty, as you saw, even getting this stream started. So normally when I get that thing uploaded, usually it's really easy for me to just click a button and the stream starts. This one wasn't just clicking a button and the stream starts to get that latency lower. So basically, or after the stream, I was fiddling too much with trying to get this stream done. And so hopefully I can get it down to a science to where I'm not spending so much time doing that, but it will be, it's recorded, it's ready to go. I just need to upload it. So it's going to get uploaded right after this. So that's my distance formula. So this is your x1, this is your y1, this is your x2, this is your y2. So now I'm plugging everything in. -3 minus 1 squared plus 5 minus 2 squared. So then d equals -3 minus 1 is -4. -4 squared is 16. 5 minus 2 is 3. 3 squared is 9. So that's going to be the square root of 25, which is 5. So that's my distance. Now my midpoint formula, it's a point. So you're going to take the 2 x values together and divide by 2. Remember we established that? Add the 2 ends together and divide by 2. That finds the middle of anything. So the middle of these 2 x values, you add them together and divide by 2. The middle of the y values, you add them together and you do what? Divide by 2. I know you guys were thinking it. So then you guys add it together. 1 minus 3 over 2. And then 2 plus 5 over 2. So 1 minus 3 is -2. -2 over 2 is -1. 2 plus 5 is 7. 7 over 2. And we have the midpoint. So there's our distance and there's our midpoint. Comments or questions on that? Okay. So for this one, it says Find the degree, the leading term, the leading coefficient, the constant term, and the end behavior of a polynomial. So let's look at number 8. So that's going to be 3x to the 5th minus 2x squared plus x plus 1. So for this, the degree, that's the highest exponent. So my degree is going to be 5. Then the leading term, that's the value with the highest exponent. So the leading term is going to be 3x to the 5th. Anyone else that know LT? Like Damien Thomas. And then the leading coefficient is the value that's going to be in front. So the leading coefficient is going to be 3. The constant term is going to be the value that's no variables next to it. So that's going to be 1. And then the end behavior of the polynomial. In this class, remember, we just went over like the sketching part. So it's positive and odd. So positive and odd was that. And so that's the sketch of the end behavior. But I can also write that as x goes to negative infinity. So as x is going, I don't know how it's showing up on your camera. So as x goes to negative infinity, my y is going down forever. So my y goes to negative infinity. And then as x goes to positive infinity, it's going to go up. So y goes to positive infinity. Whichever way you guys want to describe it, that's okay. Comments or questions on that? Cool. Hopefully a lot of you guys are like, oh yeah, I remember all of this. The dream. The dream. All right, let's look at number 10. So it says find the real zeros of the polynomial and draw a sketch. Okay, I'll go back to number 7 here in a second. So for number 10, my zeros are going to be, here, let me write it out so I can show it. So my zeros are going to be 2 and then negative 1. So you set each equal to 0 and you solve. Now for the 2, since I'm drawing a sketch, it's multiplicity 2. And then for the negative 1, it's multiplicity 1 because I'm going to be sketching this. Now to draw a rough sketch of my graph, you need to know the zeros. You need to know the end behavior. So my end behavior is going to be negative 2 times, and then that's x squared times, and then for this one, that's x. So that's going to be negative 2x cubed. So the end behavior is going to do that. And then in this instance, I'm not going to worry about the y-intercept, but you can also find the y-intercept. But drawing our sketch here, or my zeros are 2, multiplicity 2, and then negative 1. So starting from my end behavior, it's starting from up here. So it's going to go to negative 1. At negative 1, it's going to cross. So it's going to cross. And then at 2, it's going to bounce. And so that's a sketch of what possibly the polynomial is going to look like. Remember, when your multiplicity is even, it's going to bounce. So here, my multiplicity was even. So that's why it bounced. And then here, my multiplicity was odd, which is why it crossed. And so there's a sketch of my polynomial. So the two things that it wants is just the zeros and the sketch of the polynomial. So that's my answer there. Comments or questions on that one? Okay, so going back to number 7. So for this one, it's not in descending order. So the first thing I should do is I should put it into descending order. So I'm going to rewrite this as negative 3x squared minus x plus 4. Then my degree is going to be 2. My leading term is the negative 3x squared. The leading coefficient is the negative 3. The constant term is the 4. And then the end behavior, negative, even. So therefore, it's both going to go down. I know I didn't write a whole lot out, but later on you can just rewind what we just did. Yep, I can do number 7. Did that answer your question there, Cora? Is there anything you want me to talk about further? Okay. I'm hoping that answered it. And I'm hoping the stream delay isn't back on. Okay. Perfect. Awesome. Glad I helped. All right, number 11. Okay. 2x plus 1 squared times x minus 3. So my zeros, if I set this one equal to 0 here, subtract the 1, divide by 2, my 0 is going to be negative 1/2. And then my 0 here is going to be positive 3. Now there's 2 of them, so this will be multiplicity 2, and this one's going to be multiplicity 1. Now my end behavior is going to be 2x squared and then x. So that's going to be 4x cubed, which means positive and odd. That's positive. That's odd. And so that's going to lead to that end behavior. So then drawing my sketch, at negative 1/2 is a 0. At positive 3 is a 0. So it starts from the end behavior. It's going to bounce at the negative 1/2 and cross at the 3. So multiplicity 2 means that it bounces. Multiplicity 1 means that it's going to cross. So that's my sketch, and then these are my zeros. Questions on that one? Cool. All right, let's look at some of these graphs. So let's look at number 13. So number 13 is, oh, that's right, negative square root of x minus 3 plus 2. So my parent graph for a square root function is that. Or, sorry, that just looks like... So that means that my parent graph normally starts here at 0, 0, and it does that. But there's elements to this. The first piece is that there's a reflection. So the reflection over the x-axis means that it's going to reflect that way. And then a horizontal shift of 3 and a vertical shift of 2. So from here, it's going to move over 3, 1, 2, 3, and then up 2. And then we just draw the shape. So it moved over 3 spaces and moved up 2 spaces. It's probably going to erase the graph too. No, it does. Okay. Questions on 13. Yeah, so we just have to memorize those parent graphs. Now for the domain and range, so my domain is going to be, it starts at 3 and goes on to infinity. And then my range, well, this is technically going down forever. So it's going to start from negative infinity, because remember, we have to start from the smallest number to the highest, and it's going to go all the way up to 2. So comments or questions on those? Okay. Any questions on 12 or 14? Okay, cool. Well, that's the end of this stream. Like I said, please be aware of what's going to happen with Alex. I'll make an announcement coming up shortly. You guys are going to be able to upload everything into Google Classroom literally right after this lesson. 10-4 is going to be up. Give me like 10 minutes or so. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great day. Like I said, go outside for 10-15 minutes, breathe in the fresh air, get some sun, all of that different stuff. Be safe, practice social distancing, and we're in this together. We're in this together. We got this. Appreciate you guys. Just let me know if you need any help. Have a good one. Newt, you're funny. No.